Hey guys, I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com. You know, in the mid-range Android device launches, well, there are just more and more as the days go on, one of which is the LG Vortex with Verizon Wireless. It's a member of the Optimus family, which, you know, recently they came out with numbers saying in 40 days, the Optimus family of smartphones, they've sold 1 million. That's pretty impressive for a device that's been out for 40 days, and it's pretty impressive for a carrier, or manufacturer rather, like LG, that doesn't really specialize in smartphones. They've already sold 1 million. That's impressive. Anyway, the Verizon version of the Vortex, it's available now for $79.99, and it's a decent mid-range device. It's running Android 2.2 out of the box, has a pretty decent display, 3.2 megapixel camera. You know, all in all, when you look at this versus something like the Citrus, this is much more equipped and is a better device all around, and it's only $30 more. So let's take a look at the camera. It's a 3.2 megapixel camera on the Vortex, and it doesn't have a flash. So it's fine in well-lit situations like this where there are 5 lights shining down. When you get into a situation where it's dark or there's no light whatsoever, it may not be the best, or actually I shouldn't say may, it won't be the best camera to have at that point. Let's take a look here. I'm shooting a picture of the Bold 9780. And the autofocus just focused in on the camera, or focused in on the keyboard, but focused in incorrectly. So let me pull it out a little bit here and see what it looks like. So it's a, you know, it's a reasonable shot. It's not anything to write home about by any means, but it's a decent shot. Again, if you're in a low lit situation, or I was taking pictures of this at dusk one night, as you know, testing the camera, it's not the greatest in the world. Now it has, you know, it has that. Let's go to a new picture, for example, and you can see some of the editing options. You have several different options down through here. Portrait, landscape, sports. You could take it based on individual pictures if you're in a sports scene or a night scene, sunset scene. And you have several different options here. And then into setting, you can change the ISO, white balance, color effect, image size, things of that nature. So, you know, for a mid-range device, that's on par, 3.2 megapixels. And actually, while we're taking a look at the camera, you know, if you didn't catch the unboxing, just to give you an idea of what the device looks like, you can see the chrome accents on the side here. Micro SD card slot with a card in it out of the box. A 2 gigabyte micro SD card out of the box. And on the right side, your volume rocker. On the top, your 3.5 millimeter headphone jack and power button. So, you know, pretty well equipped for a mid-range Android smartphone. Let's take a look at Quadrant Standard just to get an idea of what testing looks like on this device. And while it's running, you know, I'll talk a little bit about call quality. Call quality was fantastic on this device. You know, even when I took it to the Verizon dead spots, one in Northeast Charlotte, one in North Charlotte, I was able to hold the call. It was choppy. It almost broke up. At one point, I thought it did. But it came back to life. It didn't actually disconnect, and I was able to continue my call when I got out of the dead zone. Now that's it. You know, speakerphone was very good, and battery life was pretty decent on this as well. It has a 1500 milliamp battery, and you know, 1500 milliamps, that's pretty standard for a 4-inch device or 4.3-inch displayed device. You know, with some of the high-end Android devices with Super AMOLED displays that suck power like there's no tomorrow. Now with the Vortex, 1500 milliamps on a 3.2-inch display is pretty decent. You know, I would expect this to have, if I was keeping it on par with the high-end stuff, you know, 1150, 1200 milliamps. But no, it does have that 1500 milliamp battery. Battery life was good. I made it about a day and a half with moderate use before the device required a recharge. So in the battery life department, it's fantastic. You know, and it goes back to the thing, like I said in the Citrus review, you know, the Citrus is $49.99. It's a low-end Android device, and like my mom asked me over Thanksgiving, which one would you get if you were in my shoes? I said the Vortex. And I think the price point is very good on the Vortex, but you got to watch out for that. Watch out for those prices, because you may be able to find something like a Droid Incredible for $1 or a Fascinate for $1. Device came in at 427 in terms of Quadrant Standard score. That's pretty much on par for a mid-range device. A little bit lower than I thought. I thought it might score in the 500s, but it scored at 427. So that's not that's certainly not bad, but it could be a little bit better. One other thing I wanted to point out, it does have live, excuse me, let me back up here, live wallpapers on the device, though, you know, expect a little bit of a slowdown and a little bit of a lag when you use that on your device. Expect a lag and less battery life as a result. So let's have a look at speed test, and let's get the GPS enabled, and we'll do a speed test just to give you an idea. It's an EVDO Revision A device, and we'll take a look. Whoops. I can't talk and do this at the same time because the location services are on. Let's jump back into speed test and wait for it to pop up with Charlotte. Okay, it took long enough, but we finally got it, or I finally got it to pick up Charlotte as the server. So let's begin the test, and again, it's an EVDO Revision A device, and it looks like it's going to come in about 1300 kilobits per second, somewhere in there. 1379 kilobits per second on the download, and on the upload, we're looking at about 600, somewhere in there. Let's see, 638 kilobits per second. Now, you know, my office is located pretty close to an interstate. There's always traffic on the cell site, but you know, that's what you can expect on average with the Vortex, about 1.3 megabits per second, about 638 kilobits per second on the upload. So, you know, we've certainly seen better with HSPA+, LTE, and WiMAX, but given the price point of this device, that's certainly on par with other EVDO Revision A devices. You know, one thing that was interesting before I say goodbye, you know, if you noticed when I was going through the apps here, one thing I did not realize until I happened to be scrolling through a second ago while I was off camera, there's no maps pre-installed on this. Google Maps does not come on it out of the box, so it's another frustration for those Verizon customers that say Verizon's slowly taking over Android devices. You know, Maps isn't installed. I mean, it's several changes, like the Fascinate with Bing. You know, Google Maps not installed. You know, they want to push you over to VZ Navigator, which conveniently costs $9.99 per month. You can download apps from the Android market, so when you do encounter it, if you purchase the device, all you have to do is go to the the Android market, excuse me, download Maps, and of course latitude, places, and navigation, download with Google Maps. So the option is there for now, but keep that in mind, you know, for people that claim that Android's being ruined by Verizon. Well, it may not be ruining it, but it's certainly frustrating that Google Maps isn't installed. Much more coverage to come on PhoneDog.com with the LG Vortex, so keep it locked on the site. In the meantime, be sure to like us on Facebook. We're doing 2 promotions on Facebook. One is PhoneDog's 12 Days of Christmas, where we give away 3 AT&T smartphones, one on December 7th, one on December 10th, one on December 13th, all at 8 p.m. on those respective days. So be sure to like us on Facebook for that contest. All you have to do is like us. For the 100 iPad Big Game contest, you could win an iPad. You could win several different tablets as well, and even a trip to the Super Bowl. So be sure to check that out. Facebook.com/PhoneDog, and for that contest, be sure to enter the sweepstakes for your chance to win. Much more coverage to come on PhoneDog.com. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, PhoneDog_Aaron. Thanks for watching. See you next time.